365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter. And as you can see, we today are privileged to be highlighting and honoring a service hero by the name of Steve Sims. He is really well known for blue fishing. And also, he has some other nicknames we're going to go into. The author, though, that has made people aware of the fact that anything is possible, that they can get out there and make a difference in their own lives. And he has a certain way of making a difference in his own. And I can tell you this is going to be a fun hour where you will be well served. You'll be taught some things, and you're going to see what this man is doing to make a difference and how he is truly a service hero. So welcome, Steve.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you know what? You're welcome. A friend of ours, actually someone that nominated you as a service hero, Tamara L, said, you got to have him on the show. He's doing some pretty incredible things. And you have actually also been a service hero when it comes to working with Tamara and her whole platform. And I want to personally thank you for that, because it takes all of us working together to make a difference out there, and you've been doing that. So let's dive into it. You are known as the man behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz. You have a lot of different nicknames because you, as Tamara said when she nominated you, she says this man can just get stuff done. But she said it in a little stronger word, guys. Wink, wink. I'll
As
spell it
she
out if
does.
you need to. Yeah. and so you are the one that many have gone to get parties taken care of, the big names that get businesses taken care of. If this needs to be done, you go. They come to you and you just get it done. And you've been doing that for years. What is the magic? How are you the man behind the curtain, and what kind of levers do you pull? And so we can all be doing the same thing.
Well, the funny thing is, we were all doing it 20 years ago, and then something happened, and we all decided we didn't need to. At this moment in time, we're in an environment where we have to socially distance, and it's annoying a lot of people, and it's upsetting a lot of people. But the simple fact of the matter is, we started socially distancing in 2000 with Friendster and with MySpace and all those other things. We started deconstructing or devaluing the need for communication. I'm not a very technical guy. So if I want to meet someone, I will either find a way of getting in front of their face or find a way of visiting them, meeting them, making a phone call, whatever. So I value the true art of communication. And a lot of people say that I'm really good at it. I'm not. It's just that the rest of the planet has just got really bad at it. So I get to work with some very powerful people because I ask questions. I'm not intimidated. Not intimidated, should I say? Sorry, I'm not intimidating. I'm not intimidated. Not because I'm confident, but because I was ignorant. I didn't know what I should be scared of. I didn't know what I should be frightened of. So I am the guy that has worked with some of the most powerful people in the planet. I've spoken at the Pentagon, Harvard. I literally get to travel the planet with billionaires, helping them do incredible things that for some reason they think they can't do on their own. So I think that we can all just do things if we stop actually being scared at trying. But I think a lot of the time now people are just frightened to try things because they care about what other people think. I don't care what other people think of me. I care about what I do and what I impact and who I do it for.
I love that. I love that. And as I was doing some research and finding out a little bit about you, I just kept thinking, wow, your uniqueness. I mean, like, I love that picture. I was just like some of the stuff that you've got, that you are the art of making things happen with Steve Sims. It's like you have this personality. You just say, okay, I am who I am, who I am. And and some people would say it's showing up. Other people would say, okay, there's something that needs to be done. I'm not going to let all that other stuff get in the way. I can do it. And you show up with who you are. And let me grab it. Like there was one that you've got the drink here, you've got the microphone here, you've got the, like, okay, I'm going to do it my way. Let's just have it on. And you just walk through it to then do things like work with Sir Elton John to at the after parties at the Academy Awards. You are recognized by Forbes magazine. You're recognized by Entrepreneur. You're recognized by this person and that person. You've gone, like you said, all over the world to make, let's just say it, shit happen, right? Okay, so and yet you are all about the person, like making sure that you're kind of like that handshake, that eye to eye, that kind of belly to belly kind of idea, right? That we need to get back to the old fashioned way of communication. Is that what it kind of boils down to?
It's 100% what it boils down to. I can't believe that we, in our intelligence, has decided that we shouldn't be communicating anymore. If you want to look at the slowest evolving technology in the planet, look in the mirror when you brush your teeth tonight. We are very primitive. I know the entire world is trying to make us more sensitive and more educated and more woke. But the fact is, we walk past a bush, and if it rustles, we either shit ourselves or we get ready for a fight. Because bottom line of it is, we're primitive animals. If we're walking down the street and we see something that attracts us on the other side of the road, whether it be a car, a guy, a girl, we stare, because we are human beings. And one of the things that we need as human beings is to be able to connect with people and communicate and relate. We're pack animals. That's why we join clubs and groups on Facebook, because we want to join a tribe where we can relate, where we can be us. And so many people try to change themselves to appear smarter, slimmer, more educated, more refined, to connect with other people, that then, shock, horror, surprise, they realize they have nothing in common with. Now, what I couldn't understand was the amount of effort and energy it was taking from me to try and be someone that you wanted to communicate with, when I couldn't communicate with you because I was lying. So
right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
What I decided on very early on was, this is it. This is who I am. This is what I look like. Like it, leave it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, I'm not offended. We'll go apart our lives and we'll be absolutely fine. But I am not going to change who I am and what I am for your benefit. I am not going to sell me out. So it became low energy. It's remarkably low effort to be this on a day-to-day basis. And but the funny thing is, so many people, and I see this, I'll be stood next to Elton John, and people will change their posture as they talk to him. They will become a completely different person when they want to connect with someone. And you can't connect with someone when you haven't connected with yourself first.
Authentic self, right? You have to just be who you are and the way you are. And when you wrote this book, Blue Fishing, this is the thing that Tamara said. She goes, when that's how she found you.
Yeah.
She said that she was on a trip, and a road trip, and had an audio version of your book, and it just, in her mind, because I love Tamara Lenan. She's like, she is who she is, right?
No
and
apologies.
The starving dog, and the action, the fact that she was so intrigued by your book that she's like, I need to have this. She said she started almost stalking you. Like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm going to have him on my show. I'm going to do this. And then when she got to know who you were, she's like, she just didn't let you go. It was like, okay, yeah, no, I gotta keep him around because his energy is so contagious, and he is actually helping me to figure out. And she was giving you so many compliments, you know, all of her different brands, trying to figure out what her mission is. How is she going to make a difference in her world? And by being her authentic self. And when you wrote this book, and you're just the art of making it happen, the art of making things happen, did you expect the floodgate of like it becoming a bestseller, being asked to be on stages, being asked to be on every single news, television show, podcast, radio show, everywhere? Did you expect that?
Hell no. I got so the story with the book is that I got contacted to write the book on all the celebrities and the famous people that I knew, and to basically kiss and tell as to what they got up to. And if I did that, I'd be dead before cocktail hour. You know, it was just as simple as that. So I couldn't write that. And then someone, and I don't know, we've never been able to validate who it was, but I gave a speech at an entrepreneurs event. And, you know, I got up on stage, black t-shirt, black jeans, you know, did my bit, got off. And then they contacted me, the publishers, Simon & Schuster, and they went, hey, we've just heard that you did this speech, not in a suit, but in jeans and a t-shirt with your eye piercings and, yeah, this guy, and you just did it. Why don't we change the focus of the book on, instead of saying who you did it for, talk about the things that you did, how you managed to do them as a bricklayer from London, now working with, as you mentioned, you know, Sir Elton John, you know, more of a how-to. And I went, yeah, that'd be great. And I did it for two reasons. One, to aggravate my kids, because I always tell my kids that, you know, I can do anything, you know, and the idea is that for them to know that their dad's now an author would really wind them up, you know, and I would find it funny. And the second reason I did it was to enforce how you can create impact over intelligence. People overthink themselves out of a situation. You should just do and then see what the outcome is. And so I decided that this book would actually, if it could create a world that I wanted to live in, it was a purely selfish thing. And so when the book came out, we didn't have a website. We didn't have a Facebook page. We had nothing, because I thought to myself, maybe 10 people will read it, you know, and maybe 8 of those would be me mum. You know, I didn't think it would get anywhere. It literally has been around the world. It's been released all over Asia in different languages. It just got released in Polish in Warsaw. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, just before the coronavirus. And it sold out all of its printed copies in one day. And
Wow.
I'm getting, you know, these messages and these texts and getting tagged in all these posts in Polish that I couldn't even read. And it was hysterical. And I just couldn't get over how it was. So, you know, a couple of years ago when the book came out, we then did a website, and I said, look, you know, what do you need? And they were like, well, we need videos. All right, I'll do a YouTube video. We need online help. Okay, simsdistillery.com got built. We built up private Facebook pages. People said, hey, we'd like to hear more from you, because as you mentioned, I did the voiceover on the book. And so I started doing a podcast. So everything that happened came from people. And here's another example, as Tamara will tell you, we thought coronavirus, we needed to get back to connecting. So we do a 5 o'clock virtual happy hour every other Friday. We only did our second one last Friday. And I like drinking whiskey. and I like telling
Mhm.
inappropriate jokes. So what I did was I taught people how to make a drink. I think the first week I taught them how to make an old fashioned. It's a perfectly easy drink, but I'm stunned how many people get it wrong. So I'm going to teach you how to make an old fashioned drink, and then we're going to tell inappropriate jokes. And I thought to myself, maybe we get 10 people turn up. We ended up with over 70 people on Zoom. And so then I said, should we do it again? And they were like, yeah. So we did it again last Friday, and everyone voted last Friday that it has to be every week now, not every other week. So we're going to do it every single Friday night, 5 till 6. I'm going to teach you how to make a different whiskey cocktail. We're going to go into inappropriate jokes, um, and just chill for an hour. But I very much work on response. If someone wants it and I can supply it without changing who I am, then
Right.
I'm going to bring it in. So it's just been a really interesting transition, interesting journey, and I don't believe it's over yet.
No, and I agree with you on that. Now, as far as the happy hour, 5 o'clock, is that Pacific time, Mountain
Yeah,
time,
it
Pacific
is.
time?
We have a and it's free of charge. We have a free Facebook group called An Entrepreneur's Advantage with Steve Sims. You can easily search it in Facebook, and all you got to do is register in there. Again, it's free of charge. And then there's a Zoom link in there, and just jump on it. And you don't have to
Okay.
be making the cocktail that I'm making. People will be there with a beer or a glass of wine, but it's just a way to kick it off. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make this, and then we get into it.
Okay, and so and this goes back into that whole human connection piece. Right now, with the fact that we are in a pandemic state, and that's why I started the show off with today's date. I used to have a number, of the 365 days, but I'm now during this period of time, I want to be able to say it's, April the 13th, 2020. We are in the middle of the COVID pandemic right now,
Yep.
coronavirus, and we have most areas of the world are locked down, shut down. And in fact, when before we went live, I was asking you about some of the things that you are and have been doing when we were not in the lockdown situation, and we're going to go there in a minute. But it comes back to you. Then we're talking about the fact that we need that human connection. We need to still be, sending out note cards. We need to be making those phone calls. We need to be, telling people we appreciate them. We need that type of, if you will, old fashioned way of communication that, as you were then sharing, we have now started to forget and lose that. And during this pandemic, I love the idea that you're doing something like a cocktail hour, making it fun, being who you are, being authentic, showing up. That's, as your nickname says, you are the real life Wizard of Oz. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's what one of your nicknames.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Forbes called me the real life Wizard of Oz, which I don't know if they think I look like a creepy old fella that hides behind a curtain. And also, the other thing that bothers me about that moniker is the fact that the Wizard of Oz was a fraud. He never actually was able to do anything. So it's one of those things you go, well, thank you very much. It's a nice title, but I'm not quite sure it's really polite. But, hey ho, I don't really care. It is who it is.
It is what it is. Okay, so let's talk into, you one of the things about being a service hero that I really wanted to emphasize, and I was asking you about, is before the lockdown, and I'm sure after the lockdown, you go to our prisons. You actually go to one, and you were telling me about what it is. I would like to be able to really emphasize and talk about that, because not many people would even dare to think of going and doing what you've been doing. And you go there not only once a year, twice a year, but you go 3 times a year, and you take others with you to go into a system with some of our most dangerous locked up individuals in the United States, possibly the world. What were you I want to say what were you thinking, but what drove you to start serving this population? And then let's dive into what you're doing when you go there.
Yeah, sounds like fun, doesn't it? And when you put it like you have, I'm wondering why I go there. So it all came from a selfish position. A friend of mine contacted me and said that there was a charity that he heard of that went into a prison and they mentored inmates that were trying to change when they came out. And, I'm a big, ugly fella that rides around on motorcycles with tattoos and earrings. And I thought the idea of going into prison may give me a cool Facebook posting. It may make me look kind of like, oh, he lives on the edge. He went into prison. It was a cool little story that I could have with enough shock value. And when they sent me the prisons that they go into, a lot of the prisons were, smaller prisons, just up from jails. But there was one there was a level 4 maximum security prison. Level 4 is the highest you can get. And no one's in there that's serving, less than a couple of lives. So this gave me enough shock value that, wow, I'm going into a level 4 max. You must be hardcore, Steve. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I went along there, and the experience of walking through the prison is like no other. You can slice the atmosphere with a knife. You're crossing yards that, while they've created on movies, smell like fear. And I got there and I'm like, I'm not sure I was ready. No one's ready for it. No one should ever want to be in that level of prison.
Right.
And in the middle of the yard, the toilets are literally just on their own. Nothing around them, because they can't afford any kind of violence to go on in any kind of like hidden area. So you've lost any kind of privacy. And I'm walking through the yard, wondering why the hell I'm there now. And then they took us into a gymnasium where all the inmates are in there cheering and clapping and thanking. And I think we had like about 12 people there going in. And they were scared of me.
And they were scared of you.
They had all the tattoos. They were in there for like 3, 4, 5 times sentence for like drugs, for gang violence. These were, you're not in the level 4 because you didn't pay your parking ticket.
Right.
You're in there because you were multi-gang member. You were like heads of crime syndications intimidated of me. And it was very surreal, but they knew how to hustle. They knew how to do things. They had just gone down the illegal route in doing them. And they were so in awe that people had come out of their working day to help them focus on how they can take their entrepreneurism and their hustle into a productive source, so that when they can get out, they can be a better person than their mum said they would be, or they could be a better person to their kids that they had never seen. And I saw it, and I went from being a selfish person looking for a cool story to almost hating myself that I'd gone in there with this thought. And there were only 12 people in there with me. And I said to the people in it, I said, why are there only 12 people here? And they went, people don't want to come here. People are scared of coming. They don't. So I got so much out of that day for me that I went back and I started saying, hey, if you've ever been nervous about giving a presentation, uncomfortable about being on stage, awkward about having a conversation with someone you don't know, come with me for one day and you will never, ever be nervous again. and you would see a bluer sky, a greener grass, and a fresher air. And so I started challenging people. And here's the other thing. I started charging them for the privilege.
You're kidding me.
Yep. $500, and I'll let you come to prison with me. And that was it. So I thought to myself, I wonder who's going to do this. But I think we always ended up with like about 36, never quite 40, but it would always be between 26 and 36 people would end up coming. We'd rent a bus, we'd go up there. And this is my third year that I've been doing it. And every time we go along, I get a sadistic kick out of it because I know these people in there, and a lot of these have become my friends. But when they start walking through the yard, they're as terrified as bunny rabbits as I first was. And when these doors open up and there's a bunch of guys in jumpsuits, prison jumpsuits, going, "Hey, welcome, thank you," it terrifies the bejeebers out of them. And it's beautiful to see. But I'm there because here's the thing. Here's what gets me. You are in one of the darkest places in the planet. You are in a cell with a tiny little window that you couldn't put your hand out. It's just not big enough to be able to put your arm out for your own slice of light. You walk around a yard every day, constantly looking over your back. Yeah, but in this environment, you can choose to focus on positivity and becoming a better person. So when you get outside and you're sitting there pissed off because your ClickFunnels account didn't work, or upset because your internet went down and now you don't know what to do for the afternoon, these guys give me motivation. And so once I saw that if you can be motivated there, if you can be focused and disciplined there, I don't have the right to moan about anything going wrong in my day because I'm already blessed. I'm already incredibly affluent. I'm incredibly wealthy, all because I've seen where you could be,
Right.
And so it's my third year in doing it. I actually only thought I would go a couple more times after my original one. But as I say, this is my third year and I've got no signs of slowing down. We've actually, because of Corona, we were supposed to be going in May, and that's obviously been cancelled.
Right.
But I hope I will still get, it's funny to say, I hope I get to go to prison this year, but it's really a real eye-opener. And as I said, if you want to know how wealthy you are, if you want to know how blessed you are, come to prison with me for one day. And you honestly, your steak will taste tastier, your old fashions will taste smokier, your life will be so much more blessed by seeing how other people live and the impact that you can give someone. And these are very successful criminals.
Right.
They know how to work hard. They certainly they don't have any low work ethics. They know how to kind of hustle, but they're looking to put it into productive, legal businesses. And when they manage to do it, my God, they're going to conquer.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I don't know the system as well as now. I'm sure you have been learning it, going and visiting, because you're saying these people are lifers that have 2 or 3 or 4 sentences, and that yet they're building businesses that they will be able to take with them when they leave. Can they eventually leave if they have that much time on the books?
So the way that the program, I've got to give a big shout out for Defy Ventures. If any of you are wondering what this is called, it's called Defy Ventures, DEFY Ventures.com. The head of it is a friend of mine called Andrew Glazer, who I've become very close with now, and I'm a great supporter of them. So big shout out to Defy Ventures. They're the ones behind it that actually build up the curriculum, the training program. It's not just a giggle where we go in. There's an actual training program that when you go in, you go through these systems. And the way that it works is when you go in at one time, you may be helping them with their resume. You may be helping them with their business plan. And then it goes through this program through the year. And then at the end of the year, they get credits for qualifying from a program. but they also do a Shark Tank where they have to present their business idea and why it's going to be so good. And then the winner, because we all vote, the winner gets like $500 that goes into their account, so that when they come out, they get $500 towards their new business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, Tamara, for putting up the link there. But the funny thing is that I will speak to people and I'll be like, this is a beautiful idea. Now, bearing in mind, some of the ideas are not very good. So you have to tweak them. They don't have a lot of access outside of specific websites that they can go to. So sometimes they'll be telling you about an idea that's already out in the world. You know, that by the time they get out, they won't have a hope in hell. Okay. But I remember speaking to one of these guys that had an idea, and I can't even remember what his idea was, but I was quite impressed with the idea that he had come up with, the concept. And I said to him, so, you know, this would be really good. I said, you know, win or lose, you've got something here. You know, when are you going to be able to do it? You know, are you getting out soon? And he said to me, yes, I am. And I said, that's fantastic. I said, so, you know, when? He said, well, in 5 years' time, I'm up for parole. Now, he wasn't getting out in 5 years' time. He was up for parole in 5 years' time. He was positive, motivated, invigorated because of the potential that he had now. Because when you're going for multiple life, that's it. They throw the key away. When you get the chance for parole, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And he was so positive that he could hopefully pull it off. He said, I'm going to be able to refine this. Can you imagine how good I'm going to be before I come out? And it was that positivity in a dark place that really gives me hope.
Thank you for explaining it so well, because now I'm starting to get it, and I can see the attraction to wanting to go back, because truthfully, if any of us can become better, I mean, it's all back to that whole concept of we can become a better self. We woke up today. Now we have choices. We have a choice to either, zone out today because we're all in this pandemic thing. We're all in a, closed down situation. We can be zoning out on the couch and being the couch potato and watching TV all day long. And we can just be kind of wasting our time away. And yet you are bringing a light and a perspective on the fact that, hey, even with the fact that we're in a closed situation in our homes, we're in such a better situation because we at least have windows that are bigger than, like that little slit that their hand can't even go through. We have access to whatever it may be that we have access to. We have so much more going on. And this person, the idea in 5 years, possibly may be able to see the sunlight in a free setting, even if it's through a window right now. I'm sure that person you just explained, given our situation right now, would say, do you guys realize how good you've got it? And I bet you anything, with that kind of drive, that kind of initiative, that kind of idea, whatever it was, but that just obviously it left enough of an impression on you to be telling the story of the individual, the energy, like to have that kind of energy and belief. And if we were to take that in ourselves, do that here and now, just think of what we will be coming out of this, quote unquote, shutdown time, ready to make a huge difference within the world, believing that we can. And that's the message you just shared. That person had the belief that he could. And I'm thinking here within the system that I guess my question would be, did he earn the right for that 5 year to finally have that 5 years on the book? Or is that just something that comes with a like some kind of a mathematical equation or some kind of a formula within the jail, or how does that all work?
They have to earn it. They have to earn it. They can earn it through courses. They can earn it through doing qualifications. They can earn it through doing these courses.
Okay.
A lot of people, there was I'll give you another funny story. As I say, because I went in there so many times. And then when you've qualified, you get to become a peer mentor. So when there's a new class the following year, some of the people that qualified from the year before are now mentors for that year. So I'm constantly seeing the same
Oh,
faces year and year again. And the funny
okay.
thing is, I went in there one year or one event and I saw one of these guys there. And I said to him, hey, how you doing? Just a standard kind of like, how was life kind of thing. It's very hard to kind of like say, hey, what you been up to when, well, I went to Paris last week, I was flying around, it's not that kind of thing. So you got to be careful the kind of things that you say.
Right.
But I said
Yeah.
to him, oh, how are you holding up, and he was like, I am great. I could not be happier. My mate died. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, this is not the kind of response I was expecting on any level. And I went, all right, not kind of understanding the reaction here. Your mate died. He said, oh, my best mate, knew him from school. We grew up together. We were tight. He said, yeah, he died. And he was really happy. And I'm thinking, did I misjudge this guy? And you're in a prison, so you're a little bit worried. Why is he so happy? And I said to him, and I was I must have been pausing. And he said, you seem concerned. And I said, I am concerned why this is your response to your mate. And he went, oh, yeah. No, I can now see why. He said, no, let me explain. He said, when you're here, he said, when you come out, the first people you meet when you come out are the last people you saw when you came in. And therefore, there's a huge danger that you end up getting back into that world. He said, I have no links or ties left to that old world. When I come out of here, no one knows who I am. I have no connection with my old street. He said, I could walk down my old street. No one would say hello to me. He said, I've got no ties to bring me back in. My best mate, he said, I am sorry that he led the life he did, which was the life I had. He's no longer with me. I love him. I bless him. I'll see him up in the good side. But I will not have anything holding me back to that street. I've now been released.
Oh,
Now
that makes absolute
he's
sense.
in jail. He's in prison.
Yeah.
But in his head, he's been released from the shackles of where he could potentially end up because he knew full well the day that he came out, his mate would be there to take him straight back to his old hood.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, damn. And I remember hugging it out with him. And it's just, it's amazing how I not joke, but I talk about, it's the zip code lottery. Okay. Now, my zip code, or they call it postcode in England, I lived in a working class London area. It wasn't a violent area. It was, a bit rough, but it wasn't an illegal area. A lot of the people you meet inside are in very harsh areas, whether it be Chicago, downtown LA. They're in areas where they're brought up with gunfire being a normality. You imagine being a baby, a child, an infant, a young teen, and every night all you've heard is gunfire. Hearing about gangs, death, rape. It becomes your normal.
Right.
And so how many people, had they not grown up in that zip code, would ever choose to go into that zip code? They wouldn't. So I think a lot of the time it is, sadly, a zip code lottery. Where you were raised defines the possibility of where you're going to be. And a lot of the time it's hard to break that. In the situation of this guy, his mate died and now he was released. Still in jail for another 5 years, but he's been released.
And I talked to you about this a bit, and I'm not going to go too far into it because it's slightly different, but my show that I just did earlier today with the NGO Whisperer creator, she is working with, we were highlighting the fact that there is so much violence that's taking place right now, in particular domestic violence. And the
Yeah.
UN has come out and said that we need to start educating those that are the, doing that actually have been put into the jail system for violence of some type, and have mentors like yourself that are willing to mentor these people that are currently either in the jails or prisons to help change that behavior. And I know that you're going into this the level 4, where it's the if you will, worst of the worst that have been incarcerated, and they are paying their penance, and now they're shifting and turning, and the ones that are going into that gymnasium and wanting to work with you in this program at Defy Ventures, that you're seeing that there are those people that are behind the bars that do want to change their ways. And with the UN initiative that we were talking about before, it's just kind of the piggybacking of that. If there are people watching right now that are saying, hey, this guy is fun, I want to be a part of his happy hour on Fridays, I want to learn how to make those cool drinks, I want to be involved with the jokes, I want to be all of that, and I actually want to possibly mentor with some people. I have a giving spirit, and I know I could help make a difference. If they can't go with you, let's say with the Defy Ventures group, or with the Defy Ventures group and some like them, be going into some of these other systems too, because right now, you mentioned that the zip code lottery, we were talking before, it's even sometimes a generational lottery also, where if you have, like, because rape, you mentioned that, I mean, you just some of these violent tendencies that some of these people do have, they sometimes it's learned by their mates, like you were talking about this one person, but sometimes it's they were raised in it, and we need to change those generational patterns too. And so I'd love, since it just is interesting that you guys ended up back to back, this program or these type of programs, if someone's saying, okay, I'm ready to make a difference in someone's world, that's ready to come out and be a better person, how do they go about doing that?
They start. I never expected to go to prison. I never expected it to um, be the place that I wanted to spend my days. Funny enough,
Mm-hmm.
my son actually comes with me. He's 22 years old. And I said to him, do you want to come to prison? He was like, no, I don't want to go to prison. And then he went once, and I think this is his fourth time the next
Ah,
time we go. So, he sees the value in it now.
yeah,
I think the first thing you've got to do, like absolutely anything, is you've just got to do. You haven't got to
yeah,
be good.
yeah,
You've just got to do.
yeah. I
So,
love that.
go and maybe volunteer. If you don't want to go to prison, if you do want to go to prison, contact me or contact your local prison and find out, or come with me to mine. Just do it. You may find that it works for you. You may find that it doesn't. If it doesn't, try something else. Try something else. Like all entrepreneurs, we don't fit until we do. And if
Right.
we're out there trying to make an impact, we don't know where we're going to be the maximum impact until we see the response of that impact. And so just start trying different things, just like you do different foods. Try different things to find out, hang on a minute, this is where I am. I'm telling you, sure as hell, I never expected to be going to prison. I never thought prison would be my platform. I never thought prison would be a place where I felt comfortable. I go to so many other things. I go to, Elton John's Oscar party, but it's weird. I feel more comfortable in the yard and a maximum 4 prison with people being authentically who they are and what they are
Mm-hmm.
than I do with a bunch of black ties at a Beverly Hills gala. Trust me, the crooks are just got better tailors. I I just try to find somewhere that works for me. What you've got to try and do is just try to get in environments to find out where works for you, and just keep trying until you find.
That's great. And oftentimes the most obvious answer is right in front of your face, and it's simple. It's just a matter, and I love your attitude of just do Just do. Just do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Be you. Be
Yep,
you and just do, right? It's that simple. It doesn't it's not always easy, but it's that simple.
it is.
Just just do and be you. And that's what you are. And so what's next for you? I mean, yeah, you're doing this wonderful stuff. You have these online courses, and right now, because of what's happening with all of the COVID stuff, you are allowing your platforms to be accessible for those people that actually do the work, similar to what you do when you go into the prison system. If they're willing to do the work, you're opening up your information right now for people that are willing to say, I'm going to invest in me now. So when this is over, I can open the door, I can go out there, and I've got a better me that I'm leaving my home, if you will, little prison of what some people call my. I've got family members that are saying that right now. It's like, I feel like I'm in prison. Like, okay, I now have an answer for them. No, let me go watch this show. He'll tell you what that really looks like. But because our bathrooms at least have a door, and so, you know, um, but you right now are opening up your platforms. You're having this cocktail hour. You're, teaching people how to make some whiskey drinks and tell inappropriate jokes. What else is on in store for you? What's on your deck right now?
Do you know, I don't know. I never expected this because 2.5 years ago, I was very well known to maybe 0.5% of the planet. Um, no one knew who I was. In fact, there was a funny story. I was in Poland working for probably one of the richest guys in Poland, and I was at the party. And this guy walked up to me and gave me the keys to his car, thinking I was the security for the party. And it was very, very funny. So no one knew who I was until the book came out, until my coaching, until my courses, until my YouTube, my Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So I am now a result of the need. And
Okay.
so as people turn around and go, hey, I need more coaching. Well, okay, I'll coach. I need something I can do myself. Well, okay, here's Sim's Distillery or here's the book. I believe that there is a mentality that we have. I believe this coronavirus is an impressive moment for us to focus on where we are. Dude, where we are now, is that where we wanted to be last year? Have we arrived or have we gone slightly off track? Now is the perfect time for you to clean house, clean mind, clean desk, and clear focus. Are we on the right trajectory? Have we gone off kilt? So I'm literally looking at all the tools that I have and going, well, okay, does this help me? Does this refine me? Does this grow me? Or is it an expense? And if it's expense is gone, this is a great time for us to refine where we are. It's a great time for us to sharpen our tools so that when we come out of this, we can conquer. You don't sharpen your tools on the battlefield. You sharpen them beforehand. And we don't know if we're going to be out of the coronavirus in 4 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be 8 weeks. We don't know if it's going to be, a year. But we know it's not going to be long. We know it's not permanent.
Right. No.
And we know our hardship is us having these conversations. I'm still going to go and have a sandwich with my family. I'm still going to play around with the dog. I'm still going to probably knock up some barbecue stuff tonight and then go and watch TV and then get in a bed with my beautiful wife. I'm fine. It's not a hardship.
Right.
But it can be if you make it. If you turn the news on every morning and you suffocate yourself with all the negativity, you're going to start the day negative. Everything is down to you. We are not in a bad time. We are not hell. So we need to be very positive and very focused on the way we are today. So what's next for me? I don't know. As I say, I am a product of any need. If I'm here and I can solve, hey, that's what I'm going to get involved in. I didn't know people wanted a happy hour with me and silly jokes. But if you do, then get into an Entrepreneur's Advantage, the Facebook page, sign up, get the Zoom call, and jump on with your silly jokes. There's no money, there's no sell, there's no push. We just want to do what's required at this moment to keep our heads straight, to keep our minds focused, and to keep all of us in the right frame of mind to come out of this stronger than when we went in.
I love it. Tamara, if you're still here right now, can you do me a favor and put that Facebook link in, or Aaron, you're here too, if you don't mind, in the chat, putting that, and so that people can go and they can do, join the fun. And I will total disclosure, we had a bit of a fun Easter get together in our closed group with have a nonprofit that supports people affected by cancer, and so we had a group get together yesterday, and we have all these talented people, and we're doing karaoke and fun and everything, kind of like the family get together thing on digital platforms. Well, I came with my book of what I thought were kind of like funny jokes, and everybody's like, like, okay, where's the punchline? I'm like, oh, I thought it was kind of funny. It was at least cute. So, I'm thinking I need to come and maybe take some notes about jokes, because I obviously didn't know how to pick them.
Hey, I can't promise you hours are funnier. I don't know if it's the drink that's helping, but we just throw down what we think is funny. So don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I'm not. I just kind of yucked it up myself. I'm like, okay, you guys all thought it was funny, and then they were laughing at me because I was laughing at me. And it's and that's where being creative. And I love the fact that you are being creative, and what the need is, what the need presents itself, and you are willing to kind of do that, turn on the dime. And I believe right now, as we come around full circle with this, that is why I am now getting it, why you are called the real life Wizard of Oz, because as we've been visiting, and I've been figuring you out, because most of the time when I have someone on the show, I know them, and this was the very first time you and I have been able to visit, and so it was really interesting to get to know you. And I thoroughly am very grateful that Tamara Lenan had nominated you as a service hero for what it is that you're doing, and discovering what it is that you're doing. And I'm saying, yeah, you are a real life Wizard of Oz, which is, in full disclosure, one of my very favorite movies. In fact, our program within the nonprofit, we have a journal that they get, and it's based, a lot of it has the basing of Wizard of Oz to it, and how, so there's, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's good, Wizard of Oz, really? But, the whole idea, and this is where, like, you're fun to talk to, because you're like, oh yeah, he didn't really accomplish anything, or whatever it was that your line was. But yet what he did do is he saw the need, and he was able to then, in that moment, pull from his magic little bag, okay, Tin Man, you need a heart. Here's a clock. Okay, well, here you go. But, it's like, okay, you are waiting to see what the need is, the man behind the curtain, and then you're going to pull from your magic bag a way to be able to provide that need, a solution that is actually doing something. So I've had a lot of fun with this, trying to figure you out. And Steve Sims, I can see why, I'm going to get your book. I'm going to read it, because truth be told, I haven't yet, but now I'm going to, because I want, and what's interesting too, there's no accidents in all of this, because the one reason I don't usually name drop or anything like that, it's just Elton John's one of my very favorites. It's just truth. And I mean, truth. But even bigger than that, the guest that I had right before, she actually worked way back in the day in South Africa with the AIDS programs when it was first coming out. And she helped for multiple years within the nonprofit world, for 15 years, helped to make a change in that world. And we actually brought up Sir Elton John, in regards to what he did just recently for COVID on Fox News. He got some of his friends and had a living room
That's right.
music
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
right, yeah. And so, talking about how people are making a difference right now. And the fact that I love the fact that you made it so clear that the people that are authentic, and there are those authentic that are in those black suits and the ties and the fancy shoes, but they show up because they're authentic in what their needs, why they're there to serve. And then there's those others that are like, oh, I love him. I would probably be a little bit of both at the very moment in time, because there is a starstruck quality in that. I just love his music. But with that said, I love his heart more. And when people are willing to get out there and make a difference, because they have this skill, they have this need, this name, they have whatever it may be, they're the man behind the curtain with the magic bag, then they are there to go across that yard and into that room, into where these guys are cheering the fact that you showed up, that you cared, and you wanted to help them find a way to get through their confinement a much better person. And you're doing that right now. You're doing that for all of those that are watching the show and that will watch the show. You're allowing them to go into your platforms for free, of which typically you would charge, but you're opening them up right now for free, saying, you know what, you're right now at a point in your life where you're going to be walking out that door at some point. Do you want to walk out a better person? I have a magic bag, or I have a bag of things that possibly you may be able to become that better person if you need a heart, some courage, a brain. So, thank you for being that man behind the curtain. Steve, you are truly a service hero.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are. So as we start to close this up, what would you like to leave as, a nugget, a thought, and words of encouragement, whatever it may be, just a joke. Whatever you want, whatever you feel inspired to say right now, what would you like to leave everybody with?
So my dad is probably the stereotypical massive Irish bricklayer, and wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. And we were walking down London once, and I was a kid, maybe 14 years old. And my dad used to smoke repeatedly. He would have a cigarette in his mouth and then have another one lit up in his other hand, just waiting to do the changeover. It was constant. He was like a chimney. And we're walking down the road one day, and like this, he had lit up another cigarette and was just holding it, had the other one already in his mouth. And he got rid of that one and he put the other one in, and then he pulled it out. And without looking at me, we're still walking. He puts his hand on my shoulder and looking forward, he says, "Son, no one drowned by falling in the water, ever. They drowned by staying there." And then he takes his hand off my shoulder, puts the cigarette in, and carries on walking. Didn't even look at me. And I remember as a young teenager just stopping and just going, "What the hell was that?"
Uh-huh.
Thinking
Uh-huh.
he'd got taken over by a fortune cookie or something. Um, but the daft thing is, many years later, there's moments when things aren't going right, things are a little bit awkward, confusing, maybe a bit distracting, and it takes me back to me and him walking down the road, and I think to myself, I have the choice as to whether I allow myself to drown at this moment. And so I
Mm.
would leave you with my pops, fortune cookie statement of the decade.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. And so, I really do want to make sure that we get all of your information into the comments. So either if you don't mind copying and pasting, or Tamara Lanan, if you're around, or Aaron, if you want to help, let's get all of Steve's information in, and so that people can say, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to become better and serve myself, because we are here to serve others, but we need to serve ourselves so that we're equipped to go out and serve others. And so if you're having a moment of doubt and saying, how can I serve someone else? I need to clean up some of my stuff, like you were encouraging. Let's do it, guys. Do it. Check it out. If nothing else, go have some fun. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a fun
Absolutely.
time on Friday nights at the little cocktail hour.
It is.
So, as we close this Service Hero show, Steve Sims, Service Hero, 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. Steve Sims, you are a service hero. I have discovered that truly. You are giving back. You have a heart for service, and you are fun about it. You don't necessarily want to always let it be seen, and yet you are there for others. You are also encouraging people to get back to the old-fashioned thing of communication. Let's talk. Let's show up. Let's do. Just do. Just be you and do. That is an encouraging message if I've heard one, and one relevant for today. And so I am so grateful that you came and spent this hour with us and letting me, and you were so generous in letting me get to know you online, on air, and then be able to say, you know what, I get it. He is a service hero, guys, and he is going to help you to become a better you too. So just be you and do. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Steve. And thank you for being the service hero you are.
Thank you.
Everybody make it a great day. And anybody that wants to be a part of Magic Monday in the Chemo Buddies for Life closed group community chat tonight, we are meeting together at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, and it is going to be a magical night tonight. It always is on Magic Mondays. Thank you. Bye.